So, righty, gang, we are finally here at chapter 3. And on chapter 3, guys, we just gonna go more into our practical uses and more in depth with price action. So, I hope you guys understand all of the previous chapters that we did covered about all of the basics about the markets. So in chapter 3, guys, we're gonna really go really in depth. So I want you guys to be more focused right now. The videos is going to be so much longer as well, and you must basically be watching these videos, right? So it all's gonna come uh the action that you're gonna put into basically to master this education and the knowledge that I'm gonna teach you right now in this chapter 3 and all of the other chapters as well. But chapter 3 and 4 will be the most important chapters that are already mentioned. So let's get started. So we're gonna talk about price flow, right? So once you own your charts, right, the first thing you must do as a trader is always to determine what is price telling you. So before we jump into any trading or look for any trading position, guys, we must first determine what is price flow. Let's just write here price flow. This is the first thing we're gonna do uh, once we start off with any market, right? We're gonna ask ourselves first things first, what is price basically doing now? Is price in a bullish move to the upside, or is price in a bearish move to the downside, or is price consolidating or moving to the side? That is what we have to do first before we try to look for entries. So in this scenario, from here we can see that price is basically now in an upwards market right here. We can see that also that price is starting to create higher highs right here, higher highs, and also higher lows, right? That is what we could say already in this market, that price is creating higher highs and higher lows. So now we know we are basically now in a bullish market condition. Price is moving to the upside. So that is one key aspect that we have to write down somewhere in a journal before we starting to look for new trades. This is what you must do every single day to determine what price is basically telling you. So we could see prices in the upwards market, so we're gonna try to look for buys. As you guys can see, we are on a 4 hour time frame, so our price flow is showing us now that we're gonna try to look for buys. One silly thing that I don't like about this trading view, I cannot rewind back. It will be so much easier. So so in situations like this, right, when price is right here, so this is the new morning, right, new day. So you can see price is just ranging right here and creating a descending correction right here. So this will basically be our first scenario that we must face, because why? We know that what you learned is not to trade in a range, right? We only gonna trade once price starting to break above or break under the range, right? So in scenarios like this, in price flow, we're not gonna trade, right? We're only gonna wait once we see impulses move to the upside or to the downside, and then we're gonna take advantage of the corrections. So meaning here we can see that price break out of this range, right? We must wait for that breakout. So now we must wait for price to retest retest previous structure, and this is previous structures right here as well, this as well. So here we can see price break above impulse, and there we have our retest, our correction, and there we have continuation moves to the upside, right? So if as we move on right here, so you can see this next day we already determined that price is to the upside. So what we're gonna do, we're gonna trade price to the upside, right? There we can see it again. Don't trade in the range. Wait for price to break above this range. What type of movement is this? This is most likely like a range, because why, you can see price is so uh moving so strongly moving to the side. We cannot actually say this is descending correction right here. it's looking like a descending, but that's all good. So once we saw price starting to break above, at least with two candles, keep that in mind. Price must break above at least with two candles. Right here we can see we have two candles here as well with two candles. Once we have two candles break above, we must wait for that push move to the upside. Once we get that push move to the upside and we see our first correction and it was a red candle, wait for price to come for the retest back to previous structure. If we just draw out this line right here, this is also previous reason of market structure. So we have a breakout and there we have a retest, and there we can see there was a confirmation that price will continue to the upside, right? This is price flow in action. We're not gonna take trades once we see this. We're only gonna wait for price once it started to show momentum in a particular direction. The same scenario right here, guys. Right here, price flow. What does price flow basically telling us? Price flow telling us that price is basically in a range. So as long as we're trading in this range, guys, we're not gonna try to take any trades, right? We're not gonna take any trades. I know you can trade from your support to your resistance, but we're not gonna do it in this video, right? You can develop that by later. I'm here to give you the best and the proper education to make money, guys. So here we can see we have this breakout of out of the structure, right? So once we have one two candles close under, that will give us the price will continue in that particular direction. Right there we can see we have two candles. There we see we have this candle right here, right? Our first bullish candle. There we have our rejection, and there we can see price flow continue to the downside once we have that retest back to our previous structure, right? So let's look for more examples, right? It's most likely what you guys must do to trade the voltage 75. We must wait for proper price flow and momentum. So what we could have seen right here as well, right? We can see price moving to the side, right? Price flow is ranging. What we're gonna do in range, we're gonna wait for price to break out with at least two candles in that particular direction. Here we didn't get any candle close. Here we have one candle close, but we don't gonna need one candle. We're gonna need two candles. Here we have our first candle, and then we have our second candle. After our second candle, even after our second candle, we're gonna wait for price to extend this move to the downside or either come and retest our previous structure. So what you guys could see, we have two candles close under here. Their price come and giving us this rejection right here, this wick right here, that is a rejection, and their price continue with this momentum here to the downside. Here price come and retest structures again and then continue to the downside. So this is how you guys will determine the price flow of the market. Always ask yourself, is price in a bullish market, or is price in a bearish market, or is price moving to the side, right? That is what we must determine. If price moving to the side, we're not gonna trade yet. We're gonna wait for price to break out of that structure, out of that consolidation or range. Once price starting to break out of that range, we're gonna wait for two candle closes under our range and wait for our retest and our rejection from that zone or market structure, and then we will take price to the downside or either to the upside. But once price is in the impulsive phase, like in this scenario to the upside, we only gonna try to look for buys, right? And when price is continuing strongly to the downside, we're only gonna look for sales. We're not gonna try to trade against the trend of the market, because why price flow is important, because why it basically telling us what price is telling us and what the price is currently doing. So we not gonna trade against that current price movement. So guys, I hope you understand this fine details of price flow. The other videos will be more in depth. The next chapter, the next lesson, we're gonna take a look at market structure. So we're gonna go more into depth, and you guys will see how price flow will fit in now once we jump into market structure. So let's jump to the next video.